In this video, we'll be looking back at the iPod Touch first generation and what it's like using it so many years after it was released. Firstly, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you like what you see, and now let's jump right in. The iPod Touch first gen was released back on the 5th of September 2007, 3 months after the original iPhone was released. It was released as a cheaper alternative to the iPhone, targeted at children or anyone who wanted the iPhone OS experience without the mobile features. I say iPhone OS instead of iOS, as Apple's mobile software was called iPhone OS from 2007 to 2010. It was a device that helped popularize multitouch technology along with the original iPhone and was a key player in the flash storage technology development, as the race was on to fit higher capacity memory chips on mobile devices to expand storage. Like the iPhone, the original iPod Touch featured the all-new multi-touch capacitive touchscreen that was a major technological achievement back in 2007. It also shared the same 3.5-inch 320 by 480 165 pixels per inch display as the iPhone. It also features the same 412 MHz Samsung processor as well. It sported 128 megs of RAM, as did the first iPhone. A mere 580 mAh lithium polymer battery was its power source. The iPod Touch was mainly constructed of glass and polished stainless steel, as well as being the only iPod Touch to ever feature a plastic ring around its display edges. The iPod Touch was available in 3 storage capacities and were priced as follows: $299 for the 8GB model, $399 for the 16GB model, and $499 for the 32GB model. The final supported OS on the iPod Touch first generation was iPhone OS 3.1.3, again the same as the original iPhone. The two seen here are the 8GB and 32GB models. However, the iPhone, apart from being able to communicate using cellular, also had some features the iPod lacked, such as Bluetooth, a speaker, a microphone, physical volume rockers, and a camera. It was the only iPod Touch to not feature Bluetooth, but this feature was later introduced with the iPod Touch second generation. These two particular iPods were purchased separately off eBay with weirdly the same issue, a simple boot loop that was fixable via DFU mode. I have done a video on one of them being fixed right up in the card there and in the link in the description. I've been using the 8GB one for a week now as my daily music player, and apart from playing music and PC loaded videos, there was nothing much that I could do with it. It's surprisingly connected to my Wi-Fi without any issues, despite the outdated built-in Wi-Fi receiver, and I was able to access the App Store. Most of the apps available on the App Store are no longer compatible with iPhone OS 3.1.3. I was unable to find even one app that would install, and most of them said that they required iOS 8 or 9 and above. There are ways of installing older IPA files via a computer, but I don't see the point. Such an old device would make a great storage place for older songs for when one feels nostalgic. As for built-in apps, we have the classic Notes app, which has evolved over the years to become an essential tool of iPhones and mostly iPads after the introduction of the Apple Pencil. The very script to this video was typed down on the Notes app on my iPhone 11. An old version of Safari, which barely works anymore. Maps. Stocks. Weather. Music. Videos. Mail. YouTube, which also won't work anymore. Calendars. Photos. Clock. calculator, the App Store, which is slow but still works, and iTunes, which won't connect and keeps crashing. As for music playback, the iPod features a 3.5mm headphone jack, which, when I used with standard earphones, was pleasantly surprised to hear a good sound quality. This shows that Apple's dedication to sound quality goes back many years. The old music app brings with it a lot of nostalgia, back to the days of CoverFlow and the simple but well-designed UI, which was extremely easy to use. The 3.5-inch display feels minuscule when compared to modern smartphone displays, but in its day, the 3.5-inch display was considered as pretty large. The 165 pixels per inch is anything but impressive, but again, for its time, this pixel density was more than adequate. Battery life was probably around 6 to 7 hours of music and video playback back when the iPod was new. But at this age, I was able to get around 1 to 1.5 hours of music and video playback from a fully charged battery. This is expected as these iPods are well over 12 years old now. The black plastic part seen here hides the Wi-Fi antenna, which could not be covered by metal due to the technology not existing at the time. The iPod lacked a media speaker but still had a built-in feedback speaker to play lock sounds and keystroke sounds. iPhone OS 3.1.3 lacks many features we see in modern iPhones or the latest iPod Touch. It did not have a control center, notification center, or any form of multitasking, as well as lacked many modern built-in apps such as Health and Wallet. All settings are only accessible through the Settings application. The Home button existed only to take you back to the home screen or double press to bring up music or search. The original iPod Touch is one of the first ever devices to lead the charge of popularizing multitouch, which is now a basic feature on any smartphone, so many years later. A true testament to Apple's genius and now a collector's item that is highly sought after. The iPod Touch 7th generation is the last iPod being produced as of 2020. The iPod may disappear from shelves entirely in a few years, replaced by the convenience of having all your music on your phone and not having to carry around a separate device for that purpose. Despite no longer being popular, the iPod Touch 1st Gen and the entire iPod lineup revolutionized the way we listen to music on the go and how we stored so many songs on one simple handheld device. And finally, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, and check out my channel. And if you like what you see, please do consider subscribing. Cheers, and I'll see you in my next video.